It says I'm live. Is that real? Are people hearing me? Somebody say so no. Hi, Mom. But really, somebody needs to tell me if you're hearing me. It works? Oh my God, it's real. It's happening. It works. People are hearing me. I am. Okay, good. All right, let's do this thing. So, obviously, a real pantser. If you're watching this, you know me personally. Thank you, friends. I'm not going to talk to myself for the next 20 minutes. I appreciate that. If you are watching from the future and you do not know who I am, bye, Stephen. Where was I? Right. Okay. If you're in the future, so if you're watching from the future and you do not know who I am Kara Lexi, and I am a writer. As you can see, I'm not like a professional, fancy author booktube person because I don't have like the cool shelves of books in the background. That's like the staple of book/authortube. But that's okay because this is only my first video ever, and maybe one day I'll get there. Anyway, that's who I am, Kara Lexi, a writer here in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago, being in Trinidad and Tobago, is a very important part of this because it is part of why I'm doing this channel. So, yeah, let's talk about that. I have a thing. I did this 10 minutes ago. You guys probably can't see what it says, but it says that today I'm going to talk about who I am. Check. What I am doing here on YouTube. Not check yet. That's coming. What is pantsing? What are my works in progress? Because yep, I'm a writer. I think I said that like at least once, right? Right. Yeah, so like works in progress and stuff. And then what comes next? Okay. So I checked off the who I am. Now we're going to talk about what I'm doing here. So earlier this year, or perhaps late last year, somebody had the absolute audacity to look me in my face and to tell me that whether I publish, like if I publish, whether it's traditional or self-publishing or whatever, I will never be successful because I, like the other people in the room at the time, we were all Caribbean writers. And their attitude was, if you're from the Caribbean and you're talking about the Caribbean and you're writing Caribbean stories, nobody wants to pick you up and publish you or give you a big publishing deal. And I was like, you're full of trash, friend. Yeah, that person wasn't my friend. But anyway, I was like, yeah, you're full of trash. Yeah, it was. It was horrible. Thank you, Candy. I agree. It was horrible. I also did not believe that woman for a second, right? There are a lot of very popular, very well-known Caribbean authors out there, but they don't write what I like to read necessarily. You know, I mean, not all of them, but some of them don't write the stuff I like to read. So there's that. Yeah. I'm glad to. So that's kind of why I'm here. I don't have experience to share yet. I am just starting the process. I wanted to document that process. I want to document the process of me struggling at my daily grind, trying to find time to write, trying to figure out, did I make my word count? Did I not make my word count? Is it okay for me to be as absolutely depressed as I am about the fact that I, until a couple days ago, had done zero writing for months? All of that stuff. In part for myself, because I think it's going to help hold me accountable and it's going to be some kind of catharsis for me to talk about these things, even if it's just talking into the ether, though I guess it's not going to be because you guys are watching. Thank you guys. Anyway, and maybe one in the future will be helpful to somebody, particularly me, or maybe somebody else from the Caribbean, because they would be able to engage in a Caribbean experience. And I don't know that it's I don't know who else is out there doing this. I don't know if there's another Caribbean person documenting their struggles and their trials and all of this um, right now, like I am about to or trying to, or if it's already out there. And so I figured, at least one person needs to do it. So here we are. Okay, that is what I am doing here on YouTube. I mean, I guess I could have done this on some other platform and not YouTube, but YouTube seemed simple. Also, full disclosure, you guys, I'm setting the bar earlier. Earlier, I set the bar real low. All right, like serious enough that, I cleaned my glasses and put on a bra. Not serious enough that I'm gonna like wear makeup and gussy up and change out of my pajamas, I guess. uh but I think that the bar needs to be really low for me to not feel anxious and overwhelmed at doing this like every week or every 2 weeks. So yeah, that's the goal, is that every week, at worst every 2 weeks, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk to y'all. Thanks, Candy. I know that the bras aren't necessary, especially because like you'll never be able to tell, but it makes me feel official. It makes me feel like I'm here, like, you know, yeah, it makes me feel official. It makes me feel like I'm at work. That might sound really weird to some people, but that's me. Don't worry, Tashari. My nipples are like free at every other time, I promise. Um, okay, so the next on the list, unless you guys have questions. Do you guys have questions? Should I stop and ask if there are questions now? I'm going to give it a second. Hi, Nabil. I'm so happy to have you. You have missed like absolutely no things. All I've said is who I am and why I'm here. And you already know these things. um, okay, so the next on the list is. Yes, David, you are absolutely correct, sir. I don't know about the Illuminati part, but the rest of it, definitely correct. But we'll get to that. And what Caribbean authors do I recommend? I feel like that is its own video. Okay, I'm absolutely unprepared to answer that question, but I will. Maybe not now, but I will someday. Okay. Yes, do my thing. Okay. What is pantsing? So, for anybody who is not familiar with writing, which I guess if you're looking at this from the future, maybe you got here because you are familiar and you know what it already is. But for anybody who doesn't, pantsing is basically what we call people who write by the seat of their pants. That process is called pantsing, as opposed to plotting, which is when you actually plot your story or your novel. I have tried plotting. I have tried really hard. I have failed at the plotting thing. Hard also. No, it's not. Don't worry, it's not that tragic. I swear. But also, I think that there's kind of two ways about it. Is that I am an anxious wreck about 80% of the time. Um, all right, 88% of the time. Okay, I'm not gonna go full 90%. I think that I have that 2%, but a big chunk of the time I'm really anxious all the time. And that's kind of what plotting was like a crutch, but also with the way I learned how to plot, the way I learned how to plot was very rigid. And I felt like I think I've been stuck in that rigidity for a long time, even though I knew clinically that I didn't have to stick to the plot or the outline that I put on paper the first time, even though I knew I could change that at any time. I always felt like I had to have something and it had to meet certain special criteria. And I tried it with multiple methods, including like the snowflake method. I've used various different kinds of beat sheets. I've used plot boards. I have a plot board like on my wall, for God's sake. I tried, you guys. Like, I really tried. Olia, I really tried. And it's not helped me. It's not helped me. I've gotten nowhere. I've got like a gajillion works in progress. They're all like I'm not concerned about my writing. I think my quality of writing obviously can get better. It can always get better, but it's not bad. I just can't seem to get from the start to the finish. Um, and that's what I was hoping plotting would help me with, and no. So I'm just gonna pants it. Pantsing is the opposite of plotting. Pantsing is discovery writing. You sit down and you start typing and you just let it take you wherever it goes. And I've done that fairly successfully in the past. Still haven't finished anything. But that's also because life kind of gets in the way. And now that I'm in a position to attempt to do this with a lot more dedication, whether that's daily or weekly, yeah, now I've got you guys to help hold me accountable for that. So that's pantsing, when you write by the seat of your pants and you just kind of go wherever it goes. Full disclosure, I do watch a few people on YouTube who are already successful authors, or whether that's traditional or self-published. And one of them, Alexa Dawn, she is a pantser, and she recommends that you still write a synopsis. And for the first time in my life, I wrote a synopsis last night for one of my works in progress. I feel good about it. It's really good, I think. I think I like it. But also that might really change. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. Olia, I don't know. Yes, yay, synopsis. Okay, so that's check. Who am I? What am I doing on YouTube? And what is pantsing / plotting? Okay. Also here, you're all of the best cheerleaders. Also here, I have that I should mention that I'm going to talk about book and writing things, and I feel like on the channel in general, I feel like I did that. Did I do that? Is anxiety just making me forget things? Anyway, let's move on to works in progress. So, works in progress. I want to write about the Caribbean. And I also want to write urban fantasy. And I want to write urban fantasy set in the Caribbean. And if you're one of those people who's like, urban fantasy is a dead genre, writing in urban fantasy is like beating a dead horse, screw you. I don't care. This is what I like. This is what I'm going to write. And you don't have to like it. And it doesn't need to be picked up by a traditional publisher. I just want to write the story. If I've got to self-publish, fine. That's what I'm writing. And yes, give me Caribbean urban fantasies. So that's what I'm writing. And right now I've got I'm also trying my hand at a single romance. But it's also that romance is based on like two people who develop a relationship over playing Dungeons and Dragons. So maybe still fantasy? I mean, it's fiction, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, I actually really suck at romance. Like, I'm not very good at it, but I was able to fill in a really good romance beat sheet, so I figured I should try. And the other two pieces that I'm working on, some of you may have read pieces of something called Rakshasa Rising, and that has been my baby for a long time. I have been writing for a long time. I consider myself a newbie writer still. I think perhaps because I've never hit the querying stage or any of that, and like I don't really have anything published or even self-published. I've got like the poetry, I think it's self-published, but that's, you know, as far as like novels and those things go, I still feel like I'm very much a new writer, even though I've been doing this since I was like a child. But I also feel like most writers have been doing this for a long time, and they maybe don't necessarily count. Oh, querying stage. Good question. So if you want to be traditionally published, after you have finished your manuscript and you have done, you know, you've done some editing on it, it is as polished as you're going to get it. You may use critique partners to help you polish it. You may hire your own editor to do that. You may get beta readers to read your work. Don't worry, you guys are going to be asked to read my book whenever I finish it. So you'll be a beta reader. after you've done all of those things and your manuscript is as polished as you can get your manuscript, if you want to be traditionally published, most people seek out an agent. Now, there are some, excuse me, I don't know if Nicola, you're ever going to watch this, but that was your curry. Anyway, right. There are some publishers out there who you can submit to directly, and that's great. But most, especially folks like the Big Five, like David mentioned, the Big Five publishers, and any of the other major folks, even if they're not Big Five, those guys, those folks, you need to have an agent to represent you, right? Just like actors and singers, musicians, like any other creative, any other part of the creative industry, they need agents to basically help them get gigs. So if you want to be traditionally published, the best thing for you is probably to find an agent who will help you get published. They will basically pimp you out to publishers. And they'll also help you do things like negotiate your contract and all of that, because they are going to be much more familiar with that process than you, very likely. So to get an agent, you have to query, and that's how we get Candy. All of that. I say all that to say that that's what I mean when I say querying stage, is that you finish all of those things with your manuscript, you write a query letter, you write your synopsis, you have your book blurb, you get all of that together in like a little package. Some agents want to read like the first 50 pages of your book, some read just the one page, some people want the first 30 pages or 20 pages, but you put all of that together. And way back before like the idea that I could possibly write and finish a book for more than just my own giggles, like you would have had to mail this off to folks, but now you can do everything online. There's a website, like a management system called Query Tracker or Query Manager or something like that. I think it's Query Tracker. And you can go onto Query Tracker, find your agent, submit it through the query tracking system. Yeah. So that's a query. And I've never gotten to that stage. Like I've never gotten to the stage where I was like, oh my manuscript, it's so finished. My manuscript is so pretty and polished and I need to share it with the world. Like that's never happened. So that's kind of why I feel like I'm still new in all of this. Yeah. What in the world was I talking about before I got here? This is what pantsing does, you guys. This is why so many pantsers don't get from start to finish. I'm not going to be one of those. I'm going to get to the end. I'm going to get to the end. Okay. I was talking about works in progress, and why I feel. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Okay. So I was talking about works in progress. Rakshasa Rising is the book that I had been working on for a really long time. Some of you guys know that I went to the Cropper Residential Writing Workshop in 2019. Yes, in 20 that last year, I went to the Cropper Residential Writing Workshop in 2019. That was one of the pieces that was workshopped. I probably have most of that book already. I would say maybe 50%. After I cut stuff, it's probably not going to be 50% of the book. It's probably going to be like a quarter of the book. But I had some like really awful traumatic things happen earlier this year with my writing. If you'll recall, I was telling you about somebody who was like, oh, nobody's ever going to pay attention to you because you're from the Caribbean. Meh. Yeah, that was part of a much larger thing that happened with me and several other people. And I haven't been able to touch Rakshasa Rising since. It's very sad. And I know I'll go back to it one day. But right now, I can't work on it because like I get flashbacks of that horrible time. The other thing that I'm working on, I mentioned that it is Dungeons and Dragons romance. You could. We could talk later. But the other thing is that it's called Dungeons and Daisy Girls. I don't know how Daisy is gonna be because I'm not very Daisy. But the name is nice and I like it. I'm gonna keep it as long as I can. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Um, There's also some of you are familiar with Helen and Safala. They don't. What you mean that is a bold-faced lie? I own like one sari. I had to borrow clothes from Mango the last time I needed to wear Indian clothes for something. So, okay, also that brings up a whole other point, which is one of the things I've been trying to do with my writing, and this is relevant to Works in Progress, so I'm just going to go with it. One of the things I've been trying to do with my writing is kind of rediscover a big chunk of my ancestral culture and heritage that I really ignored and disliked and hated and was ashamed of as a child. And now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, I have all of this like background and ancestry that I know nothing about. And there are people who know so much more about it than I do, and I feel lost and like a piece of me is missing. So there is a fair amount of my work that is trying to help me learn more in those ways. Helen and Safala is not one of those things. Helen and Safala does not have a title. Those are just the names of these two characters. Um, Two lady characters who totally like each other. Uh, this ain't gonna be a straight channel. Um, and I started writing that as a prompt. I haven't done this in a little while because the last few weeks have been really difficult. Um, oh, maybe Candy. I don't know, but so yeah, the last few weeks I haven't been doing the my prompt Fridays, but I with my workshop group, I would write. I would use a prompt every Friday, and I'd write a little bit more about Helen Safala's world, and that process actually is what gave me the confidence to say, you know what, I could do this. I could write this novel as a pantser instead of trying to plot it, because not only has plotting not really worked for me, but this stuff with Helen and Safala went really well while I had the time to do it. Every single time I found a prompt, I'd sit down and I'd write 300 to 500 words of this story, just discovering who these characters were. I didn't know Helen and Safala had a relationship until like prompt 2 or 3. And I was like, whoa, look at that. And I didn't know anything about the world they lived in until much later on as well. And I feel like it's still a rich world and there's still a lot to explore and there's still a lot for me to learn. And I'm really enjoying that process. So I'm going to try it with the work in progress, the novel that I'm going to finish and that this YouTube channel is going to help me to document is Hasakara and the Janjats. Full disclosure, that name, I did not come up with it. Nicola, who I don't think she's watching. The author known as Talia Ishvari and I are in a workshop group together. We're very close. We read each other's work. We help each other to develop our work, etc. And one day she messaged me. She saw that I shared on Facebook this Indian goth like album that somebody else made that looks. They think that it's what Indian goth would look like. And I saw it and I loved it. I shared it, and then she saw it and she was like, "Okay." And she messaged me, and that was her message. It was Hasakara and the Janjats. There's some kind of band. There's some kind of like Indian soca chutney something something something. And I was like, "Nah, they're a Desi rock band." And now I'm writing that book. That's how these things happen. And that's the book that I'm working on now. I do have Talia Ishvari, aka Nicola's, permission to use it, to use the name. So yeah, if I've got to take a screenshot of that permission, I will. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I don't want to take any credit for that name because she is the godmother of this idea, right? I'm nurturing it and writing it, but she was my muse in that moment, and I'm eternally grateful for that. So that's the work in progress right now. They are a rock band, and they are also monster slayers slash killers slash like super powered people, except that it's not superpowers, it's Obia. And if you're watching this and you don't know what Obia is, it's magic. I feel like that's all I should say right now about that story. That's the one I wrote the synopsis for. That's really important. That's as far as I've gotten. Um, I'm so glad you're fully prepared to cosplay characters. That reminds me of something, if I may take a tangent, since there are no rules for this channel. This is my very first time. Also, I'm never going to do videos, right? I'm going to go back to the idea that I want to set this bar really low so that it is easy for me to continuously achieve. Um, thanks to Shari. I'm setting this bar low so it's easy for me to achieve. I'm not going to do any videos. I'm only going to do lives so that I'm not like editing footage because that's going to be a whole new level of anxiety for me. I'm just going to be like, yep, publish live or whatever. I don't actually know if that's how YouTube works. I'll figure it out. I may stream my writing sometimes if that's something you guys are interested in seeing. I may stream other things if that's something you guys are interested in seeing. I don't know what that is yet, but that might happen. Yeah, so I wrote the synopsis for Haskar and the Janjats, and that's what I'm working on. I have right now a word count of only 753 words. This obviously does not count the synopsis because that's not going to be part of the manuscript, but I have 753 words. My word goal for Haskar and the Janjats for my first draft is between 80 and 90,000 words. I use Writometer. I don't know if there are any like writers currently watching of the people watching, but I can always send you a link to that if you're interested. And it tracks my daily word count. I've given myself 6 months to write this book, which should be more than adequate. I mean, come on, right? 6 months. Thanks, Cathy. Best cheerleader. Yes, I've given myself 6 months to finish this book. I have to finish it at the end of February. And yeah, not 1/8, nowhere close to that. But I appreciate your chairness, your cheerleadiness. And that's where we are. That's where we are with it. I'm really excited about this. The cast is super queer. Nabil, if you're still watching, I know that you're probably also working, but Nabil was a big part of this creative process for me because I think that if Nabil had never exposed me to Desi rock and metal, I would never have gone there. And just let my heart take me where it wanted. And so I think a shout out to Toya is also in order for that. Um, I've actually checked everything off my list except current anxieties and what comes next. And it's already been 28 minutes. I knew I was a Toko earlier, but holy crap, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So let's talk about current anxieties. I'm not anxious about this YouTube channel, probably because no one will ever see it except you guys, which I'm fine with. Also because I like the idea of doing this to really keep me accountable. And I know that some of the folks who are in the channel right now watching this, you guys are going to help me do that. Even though you're not fellow writers, not all of you anyway, at least not in the way I'm trying to be necessarily. I don't think that that's necessary. I think it's just about keeping your friends accountable, and you guys are very good at that. And inevitably, somebody's going to poke me and be like, hey, I didn't hear anything about you streaming on Sunday. What's going on? And then I'll like, it'll light something into my butt. So my mom, Angeli, has asked if she's making a small request for some tequila. For those of you who do not know what tequila is, many years ago when I was like, I don't know, Mom, how old was I? 16? What do you mean stuff out in here? Oh no, it's my mom, you guys. She doesn't want everybody to know that she supports her daughter like a good parent. At least you're not like calling me. Do you remember there was a time when every time I was on a call for like D&D and stuff, you would literally call me at that hour every night? Yeah, all your business out in the road now. Anyway, tequila. So when I was a teenager, at least I think I was a teenager at the time, I wrote this short story. You literally look young enough to be my sister. Be quiet. You're fine. I wrote this short story called Tequila, where a young woman gets absolutely drunk and accidentally summons a dragon. Yes, she got drunk on tequila, but more importantly, this dragon likes tequila. And the only thing that they can do, it's basically an alcoholic. It's a very small cat-sized dragon that is also an alcoholic. And the way that they get this dragon to listen to them or do anything or like, you know, just be a good pet is by giving it alcohol, specifically tequila. It does not matter what brand. Those are the stories that my mom would like me to write more of. What does that say? I don't know. I can try though. I'll definitely give it a shot. Mushu, but make AA. No, this dragon does not talk, and definitely does not talk like Mushu. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a fun story, but it wasn't like I don't know. I feel like it was just kind of one of those like hinky. Oh my god, this is a funny thing that happened. I've never gone back to that story to see how it stands up to like the three-act structure or anything to say that it's you know it's like some kind of story of substance, but it also doesn't need to be like it could just be fun, and that's what tequila is. It's just fun, kind of like Helen and Safala. They're really just kind of something that I do for fun. Sort of like most of my writing, it's something that I do for fun, as well as something that is helping me to explore my life in all of these other ways. So current anxieties. Uh, Not any about YouTube because clearly I'm just sitting here rambling like a fool and you guys are not telling me to shut up. So that's great. And David, I did see your comment about what was it? In however many years, in 20 years, when you're a New York Times bestseller, millions of people will retroactively find these. No pressure. Well, hi guys. I'm probably still this awkward in real life 20 years from now. At least you know I'm being authentic. Right? That's what I got to say to them. Yeah, I'm probably going to be this awkward in 20 years, if not more awkward. I think that's legit. Eh, I think my biggest anxiety about writing anything right now, not like this work, yeah, the Janjats book, yes, but in general, is that I've been having this problem where I've got ideas, I've got things in my head, I even know where something is going, what's point A and what's point B. But if I sit to write, I've got this like blank page and a blinking cursor syndrome, where even though there's something in my head, it's not flowing out of my mouth or fingers or eyes or whatever, wherever it flows, fingers, right? Yeah. Um, and I think that that's the thing that makes me most anxious because I don't know what's happening. I don't know why that's happening. And also, like, I have yet to let go. I've yet to let go of the anxiety of writing trash and somebody else finding out. So there's this thing that I recently learned about. It's a thing that I think everybody, most writers, no, not everybody, but many writers do, and I do it, except I don't. And it's called zero drafting, where you write a draft that you know is trash and that you know you're going to go back and fix and that you know nobody is ever going to see except for you. And you do it just to get everything out on the page. And then after that zero draft, you write your first draft. Um, I don't think I know how to do a zero draft because the act of writing something that I know is trash, I literally sit in my chair and I feel embarrassed. Nobody's around. Nobody's reading this. Nobody's ever going to read this. Nothing is worse than One Direction smut. I have questions. Hi, Julie. What? Harry Potter? How are we on this topic? How did we get here? If you're reading this if you're in the future right now and you're looking at this, I hope that you're not just watching me stare and you're reading the chat, because that's where all the action is right now, you guys. All your that is where the action is. I'm gonna let this play out. Just gonna give this a few minutes. I have questions. First of all, I can absolutely write Harry Potter smut without it destroying my soul. However, I would not want to write Harry Potter smut. I just don't ship anybody in that book hard enough. I guess I could ship Drari. They're pretty. Yeah. Yeah. There's just so much Harry Potter smut out there. Why would I? Why would I? You know what I will write, and Julie knows about this. What was the name of that one smut book I was writing? Priestess of Leia. Another work in progress. That is unfinished. What's really, yeah, that's it. What's really the thing is, so Tashari, every time I see Tom Riddle, I think Hiddle. So I think of Hiddleston. And I'm like, yeah, he could curse me any day. But also, that's not who Tom Riddle is. Yo, oh gosh. Why are we talking about smut now? This is hilarious. This is the best first video I could ever have hoped for. Too much dead air? No, no. That's because you're watching me and you're not reading the chat. If you're in the future and you're watching this, you need to read the chat. Okay? That's where the action is. That's where all the smut talk is. Okay? Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I don't even. Yes, the air is alive and crackling. Hi, Nikki. So, for Nikki and Julie, who only arrived within the last few minutes, I had intended for this to be a 20 to 30-minute live because it was the first one. It's already at 40 minutes almost. Also, oh yes, recap. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do a proper recap. I'm adult only. Yes, I guess it is success. Okay. It makes sense that it's adult only with all this talk about smut because geez. Okay. So the recap was, who am I? You guys already know who I am. And as I said earlier, if you're watching from the future, I am Kira Lexi. I'm a writer born and raised in the Caribbean. I mostly write urban fantasy, generally fantasy and science fiction. And I have 5 cats. I did not mention this before. I have 5 cats. They're all lovely and beautiful. And 2 of them are currently asleep in this room with me. One on my desk and one back there. I think that was all for the recap of what I was doing. Who I am. What I'm doing is documenting my pantsing process here on YouTube to hold myself accountable. Yes, that's it. That's the thing. It is not sleeping on the fake keyboard. It is sleeping next to the tower. My fake keyboard is currently covered in junk because I did not clean my desk. I discussed the difference between pantsing and plotting. Plotting is when you outline or you plot your novel start to finish before writing, and pantsing is when you write by the seat of your pants. And then I talked about my various works in progress. For Candy's sake, I will talk about my smutty work in progress because that's what Candy wants. And since Cheerleader Candy gets what Cheerleader Candy wants, I will tell you a bit about the smut book. I mean, it could also be about putting on your big girl pants and getting the job done, but I prefer to be absolutely pantsless. So, okay, hold on. I gotta find Candy. You get things done. Candy really does get things done, though. Like, really, really. Hold on. I got it here. I gotta tell. I haven't looked at this. So, this work in progress, the Priestess of Leia, is y'all. I don't even know how I conceptualize this. I think I was just in one of those places where, ugh, the only way I'm ever going to make it as a writer is if I write porn. I'm not sure like what headspace I was in, but I think I was just frustrated that everything else I was writing wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. But if I wrote a sex scene, I could write a good sex scene no matter what, right? I mean, it would at very least be average. And so that's how I came up with this. And basically, it's about a queen with every writer on Wattpad ever. There you go. Yeah. Thanks, David. Yeah, we've definitely all been there. Also, I'm pretty sure that if you're a writer, you've written an erotic scene at least once just to try it. I've definitely written it more than once. Yeah, so it's just about this priestess who no, the priestess is not the main character. Yeah, Julie, that's true. We were in our cafe and we were all talking about how bad so much smut out there is. Yeah, but it's like the god that they worship is a sex god, Nikki. It's legit, okay? It's legit. Um yeah, and like one of them, can't bang anymore because of pregnancy complications and uh they like recruit a new priestess and this is her story. I don't have an actual byline or anything. I just wrote like stuff down about the world and the world building. Of course you're not surprised. I literally played a D&D character who worshipped the god of sex for like months. Though, interestingly enough, this a story idea came before I started playing that character. Or rather before that character became a priestess, a cleric of what was this god's name? I don't even remember. Future video ideas, cosplay your main characters. Y'all just want to see me cosplay in a thong. Mira, that's right. Thanks, Nikki. Yeah. Anyway, that's like the quick synopsis, Candy. I can send you like the whole story outline that I did. I don't know why you'd want to see it. It doesn't actually have any smut except they have sex hair. Like that's all that as far as I've got. No, I have the opening scenes, the opening sex scenes. What's an option? Release all the books? oh, cosplaying my main characters for future videos. Y'all, I gotta have characters for I have to finish a book, okay? I'm getting off track. I'm getting off track. Y'all are supposed to be holding me accountable. Um shit. The world building is going really well in that book. And that's something that I think I wonder though if that's not a big part of my problem and why I have not been able to finish is that for any of these stories yet. Is that I Nikki, stop being mean. Uh, but it's that I really enjoy world building and I always have new ideas for world building and new worlds. And I think that that's kind of where my strong suit is. And that's the stuff that I do. And I do that really well, but I don't always do character and plot really well. I think my skills at character and plot are much better than they were years ago, which is why I have so much more. So, yes, the plan is to one day live stream so that you guys can see me write. But I did not think I would need to do that today because I was only planning to like chat for 20 minutes about who I am and why I'm here and kind of set the groundwork for what is supposed to be or should be expected. And now anybody watching this in the future knows that what is to be expected of this channel is for you guys to talk about smut. Yep. Yes, Julie, let's chat. Do you guys have any questions like actually? Yes, Nikki, it is like that. And I think so before we got off on this whole tangent of smut, your fandom name can be the Smutties. Sigh. So Nikki, before we got off on this whole tangent about smut, um, I don't know if you mean the Marvel movie. I see. Okay, okay, hold on. One step at a time. Um, one step at a time. So I was talking about how one of the anxieties that I have right now about writing is that many authors do what they call a zero draft, which is where you write a draft that you know is trash and that nobody else ever is going to see or read, only you. I can't do that because when I write and I see trash on the page, I am embarrassed. Even though nobody is watching, I feel ashamed of what I have written because I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. That's how I feel. And I press the delete button. And so it actually takes very long for lines to come out of my brain. I am very particular about diction. So, like, I mean, it's not that something has to come out right the first time, but it can't come out bad the first time because then I'm like nope 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 and I never like I can't let go of it. I have like that line has to be at least passable before I can move on, and I think that's a big part of the reason that I get stuck. And I do also feel like I just have to practice. I think that the only way to get over that is to practice. um I'm so glad you joined because I knew that you would understand, Julie. I bet Nikki understands too though. um a few others, I'm sure, understand that perfectionist vibe. Yeah, it gets. I don't know, and I know that I have to. I mean, so do I. I just never show it to the world. Um, but I guess yeah, that's how I feel. Like you write one single line, you read it, and you're like, okay, I'm never gonna write again. All I write is trash. I I think that the reason I feel like this is because there are some things I write and the intention is that nobody will ever read it. Cool, I can write that. There's some things I write and then I'm like, oh, somebody one day will read this or a version of it. Sorry, I did not want to like clear my throat in your faces. Yeah, but that's the problem. I think that even though I know that the draft I'm writing is a draft that nobody will ever see and that I don't need to feel a how about, I'm feeling a how. And that's the problem. Because I know that someday they're going to see a version of why are you so late? Thank you, Mango. I am also proud of starting my YouTube journey for fun and accountability reasons. And this may be something that you guys missed, but I also explained that I set the bar for this YouTube channel very, very low. How did I explain it? Serious enough for me to clean my glasses and put on a bra, but not serious enough for me to like gussy up and get makeup on and stuff. Um, Still in my pajamas. Yeah, well, except for the bra, right? Obviously. But yes, I want to keep doing this. I don't know if I can do this every week because I don't know if I'll have enough progress every week to be able to sit here and talk. I sit here and talk about like updates and stuff every week. But I'm definitely going to try. And in a worst case scenario, I want to do this at least once every 2 weeks. Tell me, Nikki, how exactly did I underestimate my friends? Do you mean the smuttiness? Is that what you mean? Yeah. But I've got that whole you must every week. Do not start by expecting to fail. I mean, I don't expect to fail, but I'm keenly aware that I might sit here and I'll have 10 minutes of update for you and then we'll spend the next 40 minutes like we have today talking about smut. Um so here's a question. What is your favorite smut fanfic? Just the fandom, not the actual fic, the fandom. What's your favorite fandom for smut? Oh, Nikki, that's so sweet. That's also such a mean way to say something so nice. I adore you so much. Ooh, Adventure Time smut. Okay. Anybody else? I heard Harry Potter smut, Lord of the Rings smut. Um, One Direction smut. I don't even know. Do you mean like One Direction, the band? Or is there like a TV show or movie or manga or something? Anime, yeah, that's really where it's at. I'm there, Nikki. Mango, you'll be surprised. Oh wow, there's like One Direction band smut. I expected somebody to jump out with like a K-pop reference. Some some certain people. But they're not answering. I read smut of the book series. Okay, that's a whole different. Y'all, we get it up on an hour here. That is a different. That is a different conversation, and I think that that is something that I may do. In addition to talking about my writing and my writing process and how far I've come and getting you guys to keep me accountable, I may also talk a bit about the books that I'm reading or the books that have helped me to become inspired to this point, or maybe if the book I'm reading is bad, right? Yeah, I agree. I think that now David really needs to answer. And also Mango, I'm really not surprised that the smut itself was better. Um, yeah, I agree, Nikki. Um, that's what porn is for. Sometimes reading it is better than watching it, I guess. Uh, but yeah. Should I put an age restriction on this channel? This is not where I expected to go, y'all. Like, Olia, this is not where I expected to go. I'll have to consider that for future. Uh, Man, I think that's it. What comes next? I'm gonna try to wrap up in the next few minutes because, like I said, this is already twice as long as I thought it was going to be. But thank you. It was also awesome. And I'm really if I talk about it, I might like, it's like that hormone time of month, so I might get a little teary eyed. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. But I'm actually really surprised that so many of you showed up today, and that you were so active. Uh, I'm not trying to get monetized. I mean, maybe one day. I don't know. We'll talk about that some other time. Um, but thank you guys all. I Wow, that's it means a lot that so many of you showed up here to keep me company because I was gonna be like, I'm gonna sit down here and talk to myself for 20 minutes, and I definitely did not do that. I talked to you guys, and that's pretty awesome. And I'm really happy about that. Thank you, Candy. Let's hope that I've got more than 5 or 10 minutes of updates, though. I'm gonna thank you, Julie. But I'm gonna do it. Okay, fine. Nikki, not setting myself up for failure. Even if I'm only gonna do 5 minutes of this every Sunday, I will get on here every Sunday. I don't know if it's gonna be at 4 o'clock, but 4 o'clock is my goal to do it every Sunday at 4, and I will update you on the stuff that I'm writing. Right. Homework for each YouTube, what you are doing, and one problem to solve. Oh, Jesus. Um. Okay. I don't know what problem I have to solve exactly that can be solved between now and Sunday, but I can say that I want to hit my daily word goal of 500 words, which is nothing. Okay, 500 words a day should be nothing, but not One Piece. I want to hit my daily word goal, average my daily word goal at least 3 days, like between for 3 days of the week between now and next Sunday. Um, Give us writing and reading homework, Daddy. The lack of tequila in our lives. I'm just, I'm just gonna. Okay, I'm trying to focus on my goals. Nikki's giving me homework. Okay, I don't know why I'm looking at this. My homework's not on it. Okay, I want to write 1,500 words between now and next Sunday. It's a very small number because I have a whole week to do it, but I also have a whole job, so I'm gonna hopefully balance that. Um, give you guys reading and writing homework. I don't know what reading and writing homework I could give you, but I can say what about Stephen, who very specifically asked for leather pantsing, was unable to make it today. He popped in at the beginning and then had to leave. So I agreed to leather pants next weekend. So now these are the pants that I'm wearing. You can see that they're just spandex. Does that is that satisfactory, Candy? Okay, cool. So, all right. That's a cool idea though, Julie, to give you guys writing homework or like reading homework. Um, I will do that next time. So since we're on, yeah, these are the intro parts. So since we're on like the last few minutes and I'm supposed to be talking about what comes next, I'm going to take Nikki's advice. I think that that's a good idea. So between now and next Sunday, I want to say that the progress I have made is at least 1,500 words more than I have right now, or something else to do with building this world and this story. I've got 753 words right now plus a synopsis, which is cool. Um, yeah. So my goal now to then is 1,500 words, and anything else is icing. I don't I'll have to think of something. I have to come up with like issues. I think that as I write, I'm going to encounter problems, and perhaps as those things come up, they can be my new homework assignments. But also, I feel a little weird about that because sometimes, especially when you're writing something that's going to go this long, because my overall goal for this first draft is going to be 80 to 90,000 words, is that sometimes you might encounter a problem at 10,000 words that you don't realize or discover the solution to for another 50,000 words. Um and yes, mango. That's what I'm going to do. I will think of some homework so that the next time I do this, next Sunday at 4 o'clock, for at least 5 minutes, I will give you guys some homework. And yeah, you guys can continue checking in on me and each other. And that would be super cool. That's really awesome. Thank you guys so much. This was so much more fun than I expected. And I'm really pleased and really happy and really touched. Not necessarily in a smutty way, but like but still an emotional way touched. Yeah. Talking through what I'm working on is definitely something that I think I'm going to end up doing. But I guess I have to consider potential spoilers. Um, yeah. But so here's what I'll do. Next week, I'll talk a little bit about the world building of this world with Hashikara and the Janjats, as well as give you guys this update. And I'm gonna write that on my little note card and put it on my whiteboard. The whiteboard that I stole from Brendan. And if you're watching this from the future and you don't know who Brendan is, that's my husband. So 1,500 words of homework and world building. Yeah, and any questions or problems to solve if they come up. I mean, I guess you did give it to me and I didn't steal it. But yeah, I liberated it. It would have been left unused and discarded had I not adopted it and put it in my office. Yeah. Let's look at it like that. Okay, I think that's it. I have homework. You guys know you got to keep my ass accountable. Um I know I have to keep myself accountable because at this point, if I don't stream a live next week on Saturday, or sorry, Sunday, somebody's gonna yell at me. What comes next? Is that it? Do I have any like last minute questions about pantsing or querying? Or you see, I know Julie would yell at me, Nikki too. No, Nikki wouldn't yell, but she would sternly tell me something. Or she will tell me something nice but mean. I don't know. Just look at me with disappointment. That's even worse. That's even worse. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, Olia. All right, peoples. I think that's it. It's an hour and 2 minutes. It's been a long stream. I think maybe I pity whoever jumps on this from the future thinking that they're going to get like a lot of content. You see, I know that. Okay. Well, that's it, you guys. Thanks, Julie. Julie is the expert, by the way. I should have like added her link somewhere for you guys to follow her, but I will do that next time. Also, I think in the description, if I did this right, there is a link to the synopsis page that I use. This is if you make it this far from the future and you're looking for resources. There's a link to the to the synopsis guide that I used to help me write my synopsis, which turned out really great for a first try, I think. There is also a link to two of the YouTubers that I watch who have a lot of, sorry, three of the YouTubers that I watch that have a lot of really helpful content. And as I may have mentioned early on, that some folks wouldn't have heard, is that part of the reason I started to do this is not just about documenting my process for me and holding myself accountable and getting you guys to help me hold myself accountable, but also because I didn't find that there was a lot of stuff specifically about the experience, like this experience, with people who are also like people of color and non-American. um I'm sure that they're out there, I just haven't found them yet. And if one day you're watching this and you're one of those people, I hope that you tell me so that I can consume your content too. Okay, Olia, thanks. It's been very good. I'm very pleased. Thank you guys so much. I can't believe that there's so many of you here. I'm gonna go cry now. Bye. I love you all. Bye, Olia. Am I sure that I want to end my stream? Yes.